So I decided to make something for some friends of mine here at Game Crossing in Casper, Wyoming, where they sell all sorts of tabletop gaming stuff. And more importantly, they sell some of my stuff for me. So here you'll see some of my hex boxes and stuff come on the screen here. And so I really like these guys and I wanted to do something nice for them. So I decided that friends of the company have a little area where they can put their business cards, but it looks just like business cards sitting on a counter. So let's fix that. So I'm going to pick out some wood here. I have some zebra wood and some spalted maple. And I'm going to do something interesting where I layer these with veneers. I've done this once or twice, but I want to make this really stand out with some pinstriping along the front edge, well, all the way around it. So here I'm just sort of picking through some different colored pieces of veneer I like. I got these from a sample pack that sends like 60 5x7 pieces, I think, or 8. I guess are 8 inches, 5x8s. So I've got a big old stack of random veneers, so I had to pick some that I liked for this project out of that. Unfortunately, they weren't long enough, and we'll see later on where that becomes a problem. But I think I have a fix. But you can see where I'm kind of putting them together here. I thought they would glue down and not move, but apparently that's not the case. So this is me just kind of figuring out the color scheme. I wanted to go light dark so that they would stand out. I have in the past put Paduk next to Purple Heart and it doesn't show up very well. So all right, moving on to my crosscut sled. It's a simple one I made. If you are interested in a simple, fast, easy crosscut design, I can show you, or if you want one, I could even make one for you. But just going to get measurement here, set my stop block. What I'm trying to do is make these pieces exactly 16 inches long so that I can hold the veneers together and keep that gap closed when I glue it. So that's why this has to be so precise. Hitting the vacuum and off we go. Yeah, this is just me cross-cutting these 1/4 inch thick pieces of wood. You know, a lot of these videos I would not show all this, but I've had people ask me about every single step. So I'm going to run through this real quick. So I've got them cut down to size so that they are the length of the two pieces of veneer together. So you can see here where I'm getting ready to glue them up. And professional cameraman that I am, you can see my other GoPro sitting there in the frame like an idiot. So anyway, so just making sure I have all the pieces in the order I want, and we will start gluing up here directly. Alright, so I'm using veneer glue here. It worked really well. I think you could probably use about any glue, but because I was going light dark, I thought the slightly darker glue of the veneer would blend in with either one side or the other of my glue up a little better than having a yellowish glue line. So I'm going to speed through this, but it's obvious that I am just spreading glue around and making sure I get full coverage everywhere so there's no gaps or air bubbles when I put it together. And yes, I went through a decent amount of glue gluing up all these pieces, including a little too much here. You can see I'm putting it back into my scraper, or into my thing there. Yeah, this is a glue up. Compelling. That's why I sped it up. Ultimately, I want the glue to soak into all the pieces pretty well too, to do a little bit of stabilization. So this is my veneer press that I made. I can do a video on that if you want. It's pretty simple. It's just some square tubing with holes and some all thread. And I bought one of these book press clamps, and it has done me really well. So let's pull it out and see what we've got. So it kind of stuck the top to it a little bit. I don't know why the glue went upward, but it did, but it came off ultimately. Obviously using some wax paper to keep everything tidy as can be. And let's cut off the excess glue so that I don't fill my sander, my drum sander, full of glue particles. So I want to get any excess glue off the surface, and I'll clean up, and then we will make it flat. So through the sander we go. I got this sander used. It used to be at a high school wood shop, and put a little bit of work into it, and man, the thing is great. So I got it down to pretty dang close to 3/4 of an inch, and you'll see why here in a minute, because I'm going to use my CNC to make this little card holder. You see me here marking center, because the veneer didn't go to the full edges front and back to this piece right now. It went side to side the whole way. So I wanted to make sure that I didn't cut past the edge of the veneer, because I can't see it in the glue at this point. But we're going to lock this down and do some cutting. I guess I could have sped this up a little bit, but if you're interested in that spoil board there, it has T-tracks, 1/4-20 inserts, and 3/4 inch dog holes. So it's a design that I saw on someplace and modified for my own, and it is, oh, I love it. I love it. I can clamp things down in about any fashion you can see fit, and I can even make jigs that screw straight to the spoil board to hold things up higher and hold things in consistent spots. For those of you that are interested, I am using a CNC long mill. I have been super impressed with this thing. It comes in a kit. You have to know a little bit about mechanics to set it up, but not much, because it is just a kit of parts. Every single thing on it is individually packaged, or not individually packaged, but is a separate item. So you put every screw and bolt in the entire thing, but you get it for a good price. This is a 30 inch by 30 inch bed, and it is well, it's like $1,200 with several accessories and whatnot, compared to the $2,000 or $3,000 that they were running at the time for an X-Carve or one of those others. And since I put it all together, if something breaks, I know exactly how it works, so I can fix it myself, which nothing's broken so far except for my own failure to tighten some screws one time. So you're going to see here in a minute, I have a problem. But this first operation was just to bevel the edges, and now I'm going to cut the slots.
It was at this moment that he knew. He f***ed up.
Yeah, we're going to have to fix that. So I just continued on with the toolpath. What happened was I thought I'd forgot to change the toolpath, so I stopped it, and yeah, it was user error, not the machine. So this is my fix for it. I found another piece of zebra wood that was pretty close to 1/4 inch, which was the bit I was using, so I knew it was exactly a 1/4 inch error. And I'm just cleaning up a little channel here because I'm going to glue that in with some CA glue and trim it off. And I'm going to do most of that with my hands in the way of the camera because, well, I had bad camera positioning. But you can see here with a 1/4 inch chisel cleaning up the bottom so that everything sits nice and flush and square. And cleaning up the side so that it's all going to fit perfect. And yes, I know most people would find a grain that goes the same direction. I know these kind of go across the grain. Honestly, unless you're looking for this at the end, you don't see it anyway. But everyone who watches this will know it's there and be able to spot it. But if you just walk up to the piece, it's got business cards in it, and that is the back. So in theory, the cards are going to cover up that whole area where I'm working anyway once you use the item. So I just grabbed the first piece of zebra wood that was the right width. Here I'm sanding it down to just get closer to the size I need. It was just easier to sand it on the disc sander than it was to try and get that tiny piece through the bandsaw. And yeah, once again, my hands are in the way of what I'm doing. But trust me, I'm sanding that piece down to that line I drew. And I'm not sponsored by these guys, but Starbond, man, I love them. Every wood shop should have some CA glue and activator. Makes this kind of stuff super easy. You stick it in there, spray the activator, and you're finishing it up in minutes instead of hours waiting for wood glue to dry on something small like this. And it dries clear, and once you sand it, I've only had once or twice where it's even affected and soaked in and affected a finish. So if you're careful with it, it works great. So pressing this in, and I want it jammed in there tightly, so I'm just using the cap of the CA glue. It happens to be wedge shaped, so I'm wedging it in there to let it dry for a second, so that it's tight against that the big side. The little side there, it's not tight against it. That's fine because I would probably break it off anyway. So, and using just a flush trim saw to cut this little piece down. Not the most ideal saw for this, but I didn't want to get out my fret saw or anything. Plus, here in a minute I'm going to cut inside that channel. This is just beveling that edge to match the CNC beveled edge. I spend more time cleaning up this mess than making the entire project. So, just goes to show you, make sure that you don't start hitting buttons on your CNC until you know exactly what it's going to do. But here we go, match that edge, bevel looks good, flip it around and trim off the inside of this little pocket to hold business cards. And for finicky little detail work, these little flush trim saws are great. I think they're under $20 at Home Depot. They are amazing for cutting off things like this or dowels, inserts, that kind of thing. And this is, real time me cutting that off. So there. Now you watched me trim that. And back in with the chisel. I don't have any super great chisel. I got these Irwin Marples recently that I've kept really separate from anything that could damage them. They're okay. It was I don't know, like $70 for a set of them, and they come with a leather wrap to wrap them all up in, but I've always used just Harbor Freight and cheap Stanley chisels, and these are definitely an upgrade from that, but they're not, great. And so sanding. Speed through this, but this is a lot of hand sanding, all those little pockets and everything, so that it's nice and smooth and has a great feel. I sanded up to, I think, 320 on this one, just to give it a nice smooth finish. And going to brand it. Look at that slow-mo. Ooh. And zebra wood apparently likes to stick to a brand, but yeah, so just doing the normal finish. So I don't think I really have left anything out of this. Just gonna put Danish oil on this. It's gonna get handled a lot. It'll probably need some more over time, but I'm in that shop at least once a week, so if it starts to look bad, I'll just bring some oil with me, oil it up, and put it back. But you get a good coat of this on it, it should last for a long time. It really, really brings out the richness of that zebra wood, though. You can see here where once I put this on, that zebra wood comes to life, and it is just gorgeous. I love it. All right, and we are almost to the glamour shots. So it's hard to see on these really close-ups, but on that front edge there, you can see that I alternated that veneer in there, so you get those nice little pinstripes. And here we are back at the store once again, and speed through all this, and now look at what we have. It's a lot better than those cards just sitting there on the counter, and they were happy, and I think it looks great. It's nice to be able to take some scrap wood and do something nice for some friends. And if you want to see more different kind of stuff like this, hit that subscribe button.